Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Sooner Surge. And today it's just me, Braden, and Jeremy here. Today we're going to be previewing of a little bit of what to expect from Florida State against Oklahoma coming up tomorrow night at 7 p.m. National Championship Series, guys. It seems like this is kind of the anticipated matchup. Everyone thought it was going to be this, so Jeremy, Braden, if maybe you guys could just give some opening thoughts of just some things you've seen off Florida State before we watch some of their highlights against Oklahoma.
Jordy Ball.
What are you
Yeah,
saying?
there's no question, guys. I think everyone would be shocked if we don't see Ball versus Sandercock tomorrow night on game one. That's who's going to get the starts on both sides. Uh, really, what I've seen from Florida State, and there's a lot of times in sports, guys, where you get to the championships game, championship series, whether it's the NBA like we're seeing right now, where maybe you get a team that's not expected to be there. This is exactly who most people thought was going to face up against each other in the final. So the fans get what they want, ESPN gets what they want, and I'm excited to see tomorrow night Jordy Ball with how she's throwing the ball versus Sandercock. And honestly, Ball's been better than Sandercock in this World Series. So I expect OU to actually have a great game hitting wise. I know we're going to watch some tape of OU versus Sandercock in March earlier this year, but just a different feel than they've seen against Kennedy that the two of their last few games have been against.
Well, I can tell you some things I've seen from watching a little bit of Florida State is that Catherine Sandercock, Cat Sandercock, whatever we want to call her, she utilizes the draw ball very effectively. She has a rise ball. I believe her in a two strike count, she throws a draw ball 87% of the time is what they said on the ESPN broadcast, which is a very large ratio compared to rise ball or anything else. So you can expect OU to be sending drop ball on the two strike counts, but it'll kind of be interesting to watch how Sandercock chooses to attack OU early because we saw with Kennedy, she was just able to kill OU with speed. And with Tennessee, the times they had the most success was by mixing it up a lot against OU, even though Tennessee didn't have much success except in the earlier parts of the game. And so, just like I said, it'll be interesting to see what Sander Cock and Braden, Jeremy, I know you guys will agree with me, but OU is the best two-strike hitting team in the country. So, really, them being able to adjust how she's going to attack them early. And I actually do expect to see a lot more of the rise ball from Sander Cock. Doing to that's what OU struggled with mightily against Kennedy. So, we'll get the tape rolling here.
Yeah, although the velocity of Sandercock, there's a Jada Coleman.
A fly
Jada
out.
Coleman, I believe, had 2 hits against Sandercock in March. She only struck out one. Actually, Florida State altogether only struck out one Sooner. Now here, can you roll back that? This is something I was getting ready to talk about. If you roll that back, but
There's
is
a
this
drop
Selena
ball.
Torres? Is this Torres? Yeah. So
No,
what
Haley,
you're gonna have,
it's
what you're gonna have to. Oh, that was Haley Lee. Sorry. You're going to have to see the Sooners, honestly, go opposite field a lot on the drop ball. You can't try to pull the outside drop ball. You just saw that example, and it was a ground out. So,
And just like that, as you guys saw in that play, Florida State, they committed an error against Oklahoma that in which you can't do. Stanford did it. If you commit an error, Oklahoma will find a way to capitalize, and just like that, T.R. Jennings is on third base. And let's see if Erickson can drive her in right here. But it's just like I've said, Sandercock, she's not the hardest throwing. She throws like 68, 69 is her top, but just the way she's able to kind of utilize her off-speed game is very, very, very effective. She maybe her and Jordy Ball have the two best off-speed games in the country. Um, and
yeah,
it,
and that game, I know Storako went for OU and gave up 4 runs. Jordy Ball did pitch 3 innings and struck out 6. So
Sandercock gave
she
or
averaged 2 strikeouts every inning she pitched.
yes, Storako gave up 3 runs, I believe.
And I know maybe what viewers are thinking as we're sitting here looking at highlights. people are thinking, well, yeah, these two teams are totally different. And I agree.
All
These
right.
two teams are different. Okay. They're different than what we're going to see tomorrow night. But it does give you at least an idea. And I'm sure you guys have watched Sandra Cock in this World Series anyway, but you got to kind of go oppo, got to go take what she gives you, be patient at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And being patient at the plate, working up the counts, fouling off foul balls, man, that can just become so effective to you. And I'm trying to get exactly the stats pulled up for Florida State. But Braden, I know you watch that you've been watching the NCAA tournament a lot. So maybe if you could speak at all on Florida State, what you've seen from them.
They got a good catcher. She can hit the ball.
Yeah, what's her last name? Jeremy, maybe you can help me. Is it Greenfield? Is that her last name? Is Greenfield right? Or
I'm not, I don't know off the top of my head.
I'll
I
find
will
it.
say that if you rank the teams of who OU has played, Florida State is not as good pitching as Kennedy. They're
No.
not as great of a hitting team as Tennessee. They're somewhere in between. They are better pitchers than Tennessee gave it through at us, in my opinion. But they're not as good overall hitting wise than Tennessee. So, in my opinion, that's kind of my synopsis of them.
Her name
But
is
here's what changes things, guys. This is a game changer, in my opinion, just as an OU fan. Florida State has won it before, has been there before, and some of these girls have played in this game before, which is an immensely beneficial thing, as we've seen, even on OU side. The girls that are playing the best are those that have been there already. So I think that factor, you cannot just underscore that. That's a huge deal.
and the catcher for Florida State is Michaela Edenfield. And there's a player I wanted to highlight for Florida State. Johnny, I think it's Johnny is how you say her first name, Kerr. I'm gonna see if I can find her stats. This year on the year, her average, she's batting 311, but she has 8 home runs on the year. So she's a solid hitter. And then Avery Mudge for Florida State too. She's a girl that's very fast on the bases and made some very nice plays. I believe it was against Washington was whenever Florida State played against them. So
In their
Florida
last game, guys, against Tennessee, the long ball came from two unexpected people. I think their 7 and 8 hitters were the ones doing
and
the
one of them
damage.
hadn't hit a home run all year. So
Right.
he's the first
So,
one here. And in this World Series, there's going to need to be a player for each team that's going to have to be the unsung hero.
so let's talk about that. Who do you see as OU's maybe unsung hero in the College World Series Championship Series?
This is a no-brainer to me. I think she hasn't gotten her recognition all year, and it's Riley Vick, man. Her ability on the defensive side of the ball to make plays, and she's one. Also, I look for Sydney Sanders to maybe be a girl because she was kind of quiet against Stanford in both games. Did she have a home run against Tennessee?
Who?
Sydney Sanders?
No.
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 Hey, my unsung hero is who I went as the MVP last time, and I was wrong. She wasn't the MVP. She did get on base 3 times, but I think Grace Lyons is going to end her historic, monumental career with maybe her best series hitting wise of her life.
Jason, I can you hear us, Jay? I don't think he's there. But just as he said, Grace Lyons, I talked about her on the last podcast. I do think she's going to end her career on a bang. Her defensive presence, she's the greatest defensive shortstop I've ever seen play softball while I've been watching it. She probably is the greatest of all time. There's no play she can't make. Whether it's you see it, her flips to second base, her backhands, her ability to cover ground so quick. Stands out with her on the defensive side of the ball, and she did hit a home run finally in the World Series. Or no, actually she got a hit, not a home run against Stanford, a double
a double, and she was on base 3 times. Braden, who's your unsung hero in the championship series?
I'm going to say Haley Lee.
Haley
That-
Lee.
She's due, guys. She hasn't had a great World Series.
Had a great World Series, but she can find a way to get the bat going.
She's got to be one. She's one that specifically I'm thinking of who tries to maybe sometimes pull the outside corner pitch. She's got to go with it and go to the gap, just like Tiare Jennings did for the game winner the other day. Go with the pitch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's what makes OU so effective in their ways to do things is JT Gasso, he coaches them up so well. I expect them to be fully prepared for Catherine Sandercock. And I actually do think this World Series, it'll be interesting to see who the MVP is because we've seen the last year, Jada Coleman was absolutely tremendous. She made so many plays for OU. And the National Championship Series, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And, man, guys, Jeremy, I know you are excited for this, and maybe if you could just give us some last thoughts before we head out of here for the night. Brady?
Yeah, boys.
Huh?
Super excited. It's straight up 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. We are exactly 24 hours away from the Sooners beginning their quest for the three-peat. I look for them to get 53 straight and Jordy Ball to get double digits in strikeouts, boys. So let's get after it tomorrow night. We'll be on here for a post game immediately following the game. Please subscribe to our channel. Until then, Boomer.
Boomer.
Boomer.